Yeah. So let me quickly share my screen. All right. So if you remember, I just happens to uh, summarize on whatever we have learned so far, and in that way, in the previous lectures we have discussed, we have found out that there is an integral relationship between a PM and a FM wave. Anyway, we are discussing the angle modulation in general. So in that also we are focusing primarily now on the FM, the frequency modulation. And in light of that, we have derived an expression, some of these expressions as given over here, where we have understood that there is an integral relationship between the PM and the FM wave. That is, we can generate FM from PM and vice versa. And in that aspect, there were very important few keywords or key terms which came up, and that is the frequency deviation, which happens to play a very important role when we understand about the generation of FM signals. So this is basically what we are looking at as frequency deviation, that is del F is equal to Kf into Em. All right. And this Kf is again a factor which ideally uh, uh, is a parameter which mostly will be provided to us as an element. And this is called as ideally the frequency sensitivity, to be honest, if you remember. And then we have come across another one where we are looking at the modulation index, which was given by del F by FM. And in that discussion itself, we have found out that this modulation index is relatively different to that of what we have learned in AM signals or in AM modulations, primarily because in case of AM, the sidebands were primarily restricted to upper sideband and lower sideband. That is, FC is the carrier signal, carrier frequency, and there can be FC plus FM or FC minus FM. And if you remember in AM also, we have found out that if we by some means we can reduce the carrier by some means, like in the SSB or the DSB SS, we can actually gain about of power efficiency in that. So leave out that discussion because that's not relevant for the time being. But in here, what is happening for FM, what we have observed that if we check the generic equation of the modulating signal, we have observed that this was the generic equation. If I write it once again, that ST, okay, this was given by something like EC cos of, if I write it once again, 2 pi ft or f the omega ct plus mf sine of omega mt. So this was the basic equation that we have observed. And we have found that this calculation will involve something what we look at as called as the Bessel's function. So this was the element that came up, something a new mathematical tool, as because there is a multiplication of cos to that of a sine term. So for that purpose, we require the use of Bessel's function. And Bessel's function, as I said, it's a kind of a tabulation form, and it has its own equation. I'm not writing that. And we found out that what happens usually that when we are substituting n values, okay, where n is varying between minus infinity to infinity, if there are three specific values that we are substituting over in this particular equation, okay, over in this particular equation where n, okay, let me start from here itself, where n will be substituted as -1, 0 and 1. If these three specific values, there can be any other values also, but in these three specific values, what we have obtained is that the coefficient of whatever the coefficients, for example, it should be EC j -1 mf. Okay, if I substitute n equal to -1, that is cos of 2 pi fc minus fm into t. So this one happens to be 1. The second one would be ec, okay, j0 mf, okay, cos of 2 pi fct, and with n equals to 1, the value should be ec j1 mf cos of 2 pi fc plus fm into t. And the other terms are also there. So what we observe that ideally these three element or these three component which you are looking at over here, this happens to be the upper band and the lower side band for the particular scheme. We can observe that this is basically, it is, if I draw the spectrum of it, so this, if this is my carrier, okay, if this is my FC, so this happens to be my FC plus FM, okay, and this happens to be my FC minus FM, all right. But this is not the end, because the end varies between minus infinity to infinity. So this happens to go on like this, okay, like this, or maybe like this, in both the direction, infinitesimally small be the amplitude. So ideally, what we concluded that for FM, there can be an infinite number of sidebands, which definitely will have an impact on the power as well. Because sideband means that there can be some kind of an amplitude associated with it. So today's discussion primarily will focus on the power calculation on FM. All right, so that is what the idea is. Now, along with that, we have also found out that some of these. So this was one we had already discussed. Another thing that we had discussed is called as the Carson's rule. And if you remember, I forgot to write it over here. The Carson's rule was very significant because it was giving us the expression for bandwidth. Okay, and that was given by 2 into, remember, 2 into delta F plus FM max. So this was primarily, or FM, even FM is meaning the FM max itself. So bandwidth is equal to 2 into del F, that is the frequency deviation, plus the FM max or F. Why it was F max, I told you with another example where we have found out that if there are harmonics, then we have to find out which one is the maximum frequency or which one is the maximum baseband frequency out of all those harmonics. So that was basically why F max was specifically mentioned. And also in light of that, if I happens to just elaborate a little bit on this, this was also given another way or form of representation, and that was given by, because this can be used alternatively. So it was given by like this, 2 into del F 1 plus 1 by n. So if suppose you are given a particular factor, you can either way use and find out what is the bandwidth. Now, if you observe another thing, now let us start from this point onward with the knowledge, whatever we have gained. So now, so I'll rewrite it once again. So 2 into del F, okay, 1 plus 1 by mf. Suppose this is the equation we are writing. So if, or rather when mf or the modulation index, okay, is far greater than 1, okay, then for by bandwidth, if I substitute, you can observe that if mf is far greater than 1, so ideally this factor will be too small. So ideally my bandwidth will be something like 2 into del F. So this is the condition of wideband FM for us. WBFM stands for wideband FM. Please make a note of this. So when MF is far greater than 1, we will always prefer to have call it as a wideband FM. Whereas if MF is far less than 1, okay, then my bandwidth will be around 2 of FM. Because if you observe that if MF is far less than 1, definitely there will be an impact on the on this equation actually doesn't hold, because MF is less than 1 means that far less than 1 is that if you consider this way, del F is MF, right? So if this is very small, it means del F is very small. If del F is very small, then the equation itself is very small. So the bandwidth equation for Carson, using Carson rule, gives a very insignificant value of bandwidth. So this 2 FM is usually considered to be the narrowband FM. Narrowband means the name itself indicates that the bandwidth will be very small. So 2 FM, and if you recollect a little bit, this 2 FM is same as that of, if you remember, this was same as that of DSB FC or our very own AM signal. So basically narrowband FM, as the bandwidth goes, it is very similar to that of the AM signal. So as far as the bandwidth, if you're comparing with the bandwidth, both are almost the, or not almost, but exactly the same. Given the condition is narrowband, that is MF is far less than 1. Okay, so that is one observation that I think I wanted to tell you. Another thing that I think last day we had just discussed a little bit, but not that much, and that was called as what is exactly meant by significant sideband. So let me write the heading. So what is significant sidebands. Because as I was telling you that we have infinite number of sidebands which we have to consider in a way in order to make the resultant or in order to make the calculation happen. Okay, but before I go about doing this, let me see how many of you are present. Okay, 24 are here. Fine. So that is fine. So usually make a note of this, that what exactly is significant sideband. It is observed that JNMF, because this is the Bessel's coefficient depending on the MF, that is the modulation index. So JNMX becomes significantly, please make a note of this, significantly smaller. Okay, when we are going on increasing the MF. Okay, this is that is the point. So that's why usually JNMF usually is 0.01, that is 1%. Okay, 1% of the number of sidebands that we are observing. That is what we are considering as the significant sideband. Because in most of the cases, what will happen, the more you go beyond FC plus 3 FM, FC plus 4 FM, like that, the amount, the amplitude of the coefficient will be significantly smaller. So if the coefficient is smaller, the JNMF is smaller, then definitely it won't have that much of an impact on the overall power contribution. Okay, so let me just show you one specific diagram. I think it will be easier for you to understand that. So if you check this particular diagram, in this case, okay, this is the FC. Okay, so this is FC as given over here. Now FC plus FM is 0.447C. Okay, and this is 0.44 BC. Again, the same thing, because this is FC. So FC minus FM is ideally the lower sideband. This is the upper sideband. Now you can observe that this is FC minus 2 FM. This is FC plus 2 FM. So we are increasing the number of N. Okay, so if I just happens to write it over here. So if suppose why we are trying to do this. So suppose okay, here I think the conditions was already given to us. Yeah, so this is beta equals to 1, that is MF equals to 1 when it is there. So you can observe what is happening when this value that you are looking at, no, this 0.7682, this comes in from the expression of Jn. Okay, that is the Bessel's coefficient expression. So that is we are not in a position to calculate that as of now. This comes in from the table. But what we are observing, that after this plus 3m and this is minus 3m, in fact, we are observing that the value of the amplitude is going less and lesser, in fact. Okay, and it's going down. So what we have to do is that for this scenario, we have to consider that, as I said, the 1% of the overall sidebands which are present for the particular B or the modulation index. So in this case, what we are looking at, that after 6 FM, okay, 6 FM, why? This is the bandwidth. If you observe 3 FM and this is FC minus 3 FM, so the bandwidth is 6 FM. Okay, so let me just write it down. So bandwidth in this case, if I go by FC plus 3 FM minus FC minus 3 FM. Okay, this is, I'm showing based on this diagram I'm talking about. So this is my first maximum and this is my minimum. So we can observe over here that for this particular example, 6 FM, okay, this happens to be the significant bandwidth that we need to consider for our analysis. Got it? So that's why it is not about the infinite number of bandwidth that we have to consider. It is just that for a certain portion of the bandwidth, which happens to play an important role, okay, that we have to consider for our explanation. Usually the values of this, you can, like when the amplitude is going diminishing order, we can neglect those sidebands, but we have to consider that part, like beta equal to 1, like in this case beta equals to 1, We have substituted, we've got the value. So in the same way, for other beta, you will get a tabulation. Just see this particular diagram. I'll just want to show you this one. See this particular diagram. All right, so this is basically MF. This beta is basically the MF. So you can see that beta MF is changing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that. It goes on changing. This value needs to be substituted in the Bessel's equation, which was the expression, which I think I have it somewhere here maybe. Yeah, this particular very big one expression that in fact I have written it down also in last day's class. So that gives us this particular graph. Now you can observe that as we go along with higher modulation, the number of significant sideband is actually going down. All right, so that is what the idea is. Okay, so from these values, you can see that the maximum values have been considered as the coefficients values. So suppose a beta equals to 1 is over here. So that we'll consider that at that beta equal to 1, where what is the value of eta, that the value of Jn that we are considering, right? So like that, you can see beta equal to 2.4, beta equals to 5, like that. Each and every cases there are graphs, and these graphs are generated from the equation itself. So we are not bothered with that. Most of the cases, the equations will be provided to us, or the values of would be provided to us, and just like something like this, okay, just like this. And you can see also over here that after a certain degree, after a certain period, in fact, this is the same example. You can see that this portion, after this portion, the value is going to 0.0025, which is significantly lower. Okay, so that is what is mentioned over here, as may be seen from the table of Bessel's function. For values n above a certain value, the values of j and beta becomes progressively smaller. If FM sidebands are considered to be significant, then j and beta should be greater than 0.1. So this 0.01, it should be greater than 0.01. You can see that this value 0.0025 is less than that. So that's why it is becoming an insignificant sideband. All right, although there will be some amplitude, but we will neglect that in our discussion. All right, so that is basically one observation, one of the example for the significant sideband and how we are going to consider the significant sideband. So the value should be more than 0.01 if that all we have to consider that. That is one point. The second thing that I need to discuss today is that we are looking at the narrowband FM and wideband FM for a certain degree. Now let us try to find out that what exactly is meant by the very high frequency FM. So this is what we call as very high frequency band FM. Usually this is very important. Why? Because the bandwidth that we are playing around with this is a specific bandwidth. So don't forget about this. The specific bandwidth is given as 30 megahertz to 300 megahertz. So this is the bandwidth over which this particular very high frequency band of FM works. And this is a standard. So don't, if suppose in a given question you are mentioned as VHF, this is in short is called as VHF FM. Okay, so if suppose in a question it is directly mentioned as VHF FM, just imagine that the range of bandwidth should be 30 megahertz to 300 megahertz. And what is more important is within this bandwidth, there is a specific window of bandwidth which is called as 88 megahertz to 108 megahertz. And this particular band, if you can anyone identify what exactly is this band?
Sir, is it the commercial band?
Yes, absolutely, it's a commercial FM bandwidth. So you will observe that all the necessary FM channels will always be maintained within this particular band. So it starts from 88 megahertz and 108. Don't forget this particular range, because again it is a standard and it can't be altered. It can't be 87 megahertz. It can't go to 109 megahertz. It should be within this. For within this band, that band should be modulated. It should be multiplexed. It should be sliced, whatever you call them, so that each individual frequency can be allotted to individual stations. So for example, if I consider that 98.3 is one FM, okay, and there is another one is 93.5 maybe, okay. So this particular range, 98.3 megahertz, is the range for this particular FM1, whereas this is for FM2. And as you will soon find out that there are tuners where we will go on tuning our radio when we are using our radio. That is what we call as super heterodyne receiver. The receiver, when we are you all must be knowing a process of scanning the station, right? The scanning of the station is nothing but when you are you are tuning your oscillators, okay, to a particular the radio oscillator or the super heterodyne receiver in a way so that it tunes to that 98.3 FM. Okay, so this is what with the tuner circuit is all about. Okay, so each and every on that particular, and if you observe that you can try it on your phone as well, that if you are scanning it, right, until and unless you are getting that exact frequency band of for that particular frequency FM, you will get all gibberish or noise in the subsequent nearby stations. You will find that at 98.2 it will be noisy. It will be even in 98.4 the station you can't hear, because the tuner is such that it is only going to tune to that particular licensed band of FM, and that is what the commercial FM bandwidth is all about. All right, so that is very important, and to achieve that, there are some standard procedures. In that, one of the first specification is the maximum frequency input. Okay, maximum frequency input. Okay, this is basically music, if I call it. This should be around 15 kilohertz. So this should be 15 kilohertz, or rather, if I consider it in that way, that this is basically my FM. So FM can be the maximum frequency that we are looking at. This should be 15 kilohertz, around that range. Okay, it can't go beyond 15 kilohertz. That's one thing. Second is the deviation. The deviation equation we have already discussed. So this deviation should always be 75 kilohertz. Please make a note of this. These are all standard. Okay, so del F, this is what we're looking at. So this is MF into FM. So you can observe that if this should be 75, if this needs to be 75, we need to make sure that this MF is 5. Okay, so naturally we can say that the modulation index, okay, or MF should always be 5 in this case. Okay, that is a standard. That's the standard procedures. So naturally, if I now relate, if I try to relate with the question that we discussed about the significant sideband. So if MF equals to 5, okay, and you have the Bessel's function, the JNF, this one, okay, from the table, it can be found out that there can be 16 significant band, okay, 16 significant sideband. If I write sideband over here, 16 sideband which are possible. So please make a note of that as well, because we are not discussing about the Bessel's function as such by like how we are calculating or estimating the values and all. We are not going to take that. But if MF equals to 5, when you substitute in the equation for the Bessel's function, there can be 16 sideband, significant sideband, which is possible. All right, so that is another observation. And if I apply the Curson's rule, which we all know, so that is 2 into del F plus FM. So for this particular specification, the values are coming around 2 into 75 plus 15 is 180 kilohertz. Although this is not exact, to be honest, because we have to apply the guard band also. Guard band, since we have not discussed anywhere, I'm not focusing on that for the time being. But ideally, guard band is nothing but there will be some kind of a separation between the individual sidebands, okay, or individual bands, such that they don't overlap amongst each other. So that will be a wastage. Naturally, that will be a wastage, but the guard band is essential to avoid the interference of one station to another. All right, so there will be some portion which will reduce from 180 kilohertz. It won't be that 180 kilohertz. It will be somewhere reduced, but I'm not discussing that as of now. So this is basically what we are looking at as per the Curson rule. Now, if I consider with respect to the practical bandwidth, so practical bandwidth, okay, for a wide band, for a very high VHF FM, that is nothing but 2 into if you remember, the question was 2 into the significant sideband, 2 into FM into number of significant sideband. So this if I go about this by equation, so this will be 62 into 15 into 16, okay, and that will be around 480 kilohertz. Although we won't be looking at 480 kilohertz, because the more we can accommodate, the more the bandwidth requirement is stringent. The lesser it is, the better is that we can accommodate more and more number of station for that matter. But ideally, these are the some of the calculation that goes in for the very high frequency band of FM. So this is a standard. These are all standard. This particularly these three values, okay, FM, deviation, that is del F, and MF. These three are the standards. The rest of the things are calculated based on whatever we have as a record. All right. So this is about all about the bandwidth, the Carson's rule, and explanation about it, and significant sideband, the Bessel's function. The last of the topic that we are going to discuss today, and that is I was telling you, and that is the power in FM. Just like we had it in AM, here also we will have to calculate the power, and naturally we will come as the power efficiency for that matter. But the power calculation is not so easy as it was there in the AM case. Okay, because here, if you remember, the final expression has the Bessel's function to it. So if I write it once again, our ST is equal to EC, N equals to minus infinity to plus infinity, Jn mf cos of omega c plus n omega m into t. So this was the basic equation. The problem is that we have this part or the coefficient, which is a little tricky. But the peak of the component, so if I happen to try to find out what is the power, so peak value of the component, that is Jnmf, okay, for the nth element should be, okay, given by the normalized power. So this normalized power V RMS square, this we already did in AM also, should be V peak by square root whole square. Okay, so if V peak, if I consider the peak value, so in order to answer this, this is normalized power as an expression. Now the peak value of component Jnmf for the nth component, this will be in relation to this. How we can write is EC J eta or Jn mf by square root 2 whole square. So basically this V peak, we are relating it with EC Jn mf. So for the particular value of n where it has got the maximum, all right, or EC Jn mf whole square by, all right. So this is basically the equation. But you can observe that this ideally should have been the normalized power, that is the P total. So P total, we can actually write it in this way, because it contains, because Jn mf, remember, this contains all the sideband powers also. All right. So usually this is ideal expression minus infinity to infinity EC Jn mf whole square by 2. So this is ideally the total power expression. But again, we come to a conclusion that this is a problematic scenario, because this Jn mf is there present. So we have to somehow neglect that, and we have to somehow make some arrangement so that we are not in a position to take, we can eliminate the element of Jn. Now for that, one assumption comes in very handy, and that assumption is basically the theory of FM itself, that magnitude, please make a note, that magnitude or the amplitude of FM magnitude or amplitude of FM is constant. So this is a very important term, because if you consider that the principle of FM, that the magnitude will remain as it is, the amplitude of the FM will remain as it is, only the frequency will vary. So keeping this in mind, what we can say is that this V peak by square root whole square, which we mentioned, can be mentioned as VC by square root 2, okay, or we can say EC by square root 2. Why I mean it in this way? Because this is EC is nothing but the carrier amplitude. As we are mentioning that the carrier amplitude will remain as it is, okay, it won't change. So what we can do is that we can relate this to nothing but EC JNMF whole square by 2, n equals to minus infinity to infinity. Okay, so this what I mean is, if you observe carefully what I mentioned over here, that the power, because we know that the power PT is nothing but VRMS. That's what we have mentioned over here, right? We see over here the normalized power. Okay, normalized power. So this is basically PT, that is given by VRMS square. But as per our equation, when we substitute, it is coming as this. But from the assumption that the amplitude is remaining constant for an FM, what we can say that this Vm square, okay, the PT equal to VRMS square that we have mentioned, this can be approximated to EC square by 2. All right, EC square by 2, or ideally there will be a resistor somewhere. So PT equals EC square by 2 into RL, where this RL is the load resistance. So you will see this load resistance later when we try to mention the generation of FM. But please make a note of this equation. So from the expression of 1, we are actually approximating the total power to something like EC square by 2RL, only because of the reason that this JNMF will mean that there will be infinite number of summation that we need to do in order to find the P total. See the problem over here. Okay, I'm repeating it once again. Why I did this? Because in this P total, we have this n minus n to minus infinity to infinity. So there are infinite number of multiplication that rather calculation we need to do. So in order to avoid that, what we assume is that since the amplitude of the carrier will remain as it is, okay, so we can approximate a V. Anyone doubt? Okay, VRMS square is considered to be EC square by 2, where EC is the maximum amplitude of the carrier, and further we can expand that a PT, or the total power, is EC square by 2 RL, where this RL is nothing but the load resistance. It's load resistance. All right, so this is the equation that we are going to use. Okay, so this is the equation that we are going to use for the time.
In the second last step, shouldn't be VC by root of the whole square.
Which one? I think EC square by yeah, correct you are.
And
Right.
EC by root.
Yes. This should be square. Yeah. This is mistake. This should be squared by 2 like this. And in fact, rest of the things are okay. Yeah. I think this one also VC. You actually. Oh, who has unmuted? Someone unmuted. All right. So yeah, we are in this position. So we have represented this, but this is not the end. Why? Because you can observe that this is some kind of a approximation we are doing, right? So that's why the last term that we will discuss, and that is called as distortion. We call as a distortion, or D. Okay, again. So this is given by power in total spectrum. See this. Power in total spectrum minus power in band limited spectrum divided by total power PT. Basically, what I mean is that D is given by PT minus P band limited. What is band limited? I'll tell you, divided by PT. Okay, so this is basically distortion. Now, in that PT we have already defined, which is EC square. So maybe I'll write it over here. EC square. Okay, this is EC square by 2 rather. EC square by 2. Let it be like this. And this PBL, the power in the band limited portion, that is ideally summation EC square by 2 n minus infinity to infinity J. Okay, Jn MF whole square. So this whole thing is squared, whole square divided by EC square by 2. So in this should be the equation. So basically the portion that you are looking at over here, this P total that we have mentioned over here, ideally we should write it as PBL. Why? Because you can see that this is JNMF, right? And we have already discussed today itself that it depends on the value of n. And n, if I consider that particular value, n equal to minus 1, this one that we have discussed today over here. Yeah, n equals to minus 1, 0 and 1. So whenever we are coming to it, basically we are getting the power for the carrier plus the sideband power from that exact solution. Okay, so that is why this PBL that you are looking at over here, the PBL, where is it? Yeah, this one. So this is ideally a carrier plus the sideband power. But since we have considered for our ease of calculation, we are taking EC square by 2 as the maximum power that is possible, or the total power. So we are now defining that as a power in the total spectrum, keeping the amplitude to be constant. And this portion, the second part, we are specifically mentioning it as the power in the band limited spectrum. But naturally, you can see that will be little tedious for us to calculate and discuss. And that's why this whole thing, if you just happens to write it as D prime, this is 1 minus, okay, 1 minus summation of Jn MF squared n equals to minus infinity to infinity. If I just happens to simplify this above equation, this is what we are getting. And overall, this 1 minus this, whatever is there in the bracket, this one is called as the distortion. Okay, this is what we're looking at as a distortion. So this is basically a loss. You remember the sideband powers were basically loss. We were trying to eliminate the sidebands as much as possible in AM as well. When we did the DSBSC, when we did the SSBSC, we were trying to eliminate the power from the sideband, or the sideband power, because, or rather we were eliminating the carrier power for that matter. Here we cannot specifically eliminate the carrier power because carrier power and sideband powers are all together coming in. So that's why overall it is mentioned as a distortion, and 1 minus that will be considered as the total available power, or this portion will be considered as the loss for the band limited signal. All right, so this is all that we have for today. Let me just quickly, I thought of finishing our numerical, but I think we don't have requisite time to finish it. We will come back on next day and we'll start off with the numerical, and we'll move ahead with the generation of FM, because this took a little bit of time for explanation and all. So let me stop the session.
Sir?
Yes, please, Fatima.
So D prime and D are basically the same thing. So why are we basically like using different terms?
Yeah. The point is that when we are looking at distortion, it is like, okay, you can say that. Yeah, what I meant is like why I mentioned. Okay, let me share it once again. Why I meant by this D prime is that, see here, when we have defined D, it was like PT minus PBL by PT. Okay, and that is ideally, which means that D is equal to 1 minus PBL by PT, right? So that is what the idea is. But this particular segment. Okay, ideally I should write what I should write. This should be D prime, and this PBL and all, this I will mention as the D. Okay, this, if this clears your doubt. Okay, distortion I'll put it as D prime. Okay, D prime. So D prime is equal to 1 minus this, and this I'm talking about a loss. This is what I'm talking about, the loss. That's why I mentioned this as D prime, nothing else. All
Got it.
got it. So because what my focus of our attention is that the band limited spectrum or the FM signal and its infinite number of side will have a power content, power element, which needs to be eliminated because that is lost, as we all know from our theory structure from the AM itself. So that is what I thought of showing you over here. All right. So let me stop the recording over here.